Hello everyone, I'm Therese Pantanoses, and today I'll be presenting a logical fallacy that often sneaks into our conversations and decisions, the appeal to pity, also known as argumentatum ad misericordiam. Emotions are powerful, and emotional appeals are persuasive and widely used. But when sympathy replaces logic and arguments, we run into problems. That's where appeal to pity comes in, since it uses sympathy to persuade rather than logical reasoning. This fallacy occurs when someone tries to win support for an idea not by presenting evidence, but by evoking sympathy. In short, they say, "Feel sorry for me, so I must be right." So this fallacy manipulates the listener's emotions to influence judgment. The pattern usually goes like this. So the arguer makes the listener feel pity, which leads them to accept a conclusion, even though there's no illogical basis. So no evidence is given to validate the argument, only an emotional persuasion. So the core issue is that this type of argument distracts from the fact. So it's psychologically effective, like people want to help, but logically it's flawed. It creates a false sense of obligation to agree based on compassion. Let's look at an example. A student caught plagiarizing pleads, "Please don't fail me. If I don't pass this class, I'll lose my scholarship and disappoint my parents." So the hardship is real, but it doesn't prove they didn't cheat. So why it's a fallacy? For psychological relevance, it makes the listener feel emotional pressure. For logical irrelevance, it offers no factual support for the conclusion, which results in poor decision making based on sympathy rather than the truth. So this fallacy works because it tugs at our emotions, but pity isn't proof. Emotionally compelling stories don't necessarily make something true. So in order to avoid falling for this, we must always ask, does this argument have factual support? So we must recognize when pity is used to cover up a lack of evidence and respond with empathy but analyze the logic before agreeing. So empathy is important, but decisions, especially serious ones, should be based on facts. So here's a better approach. If someone asks for a special consideration, they should provide with context, cause, and proof. For example, I was hospitalized and have a doctor's note, so I'm requesting a deadline extension. So that's a reason compassion. These fallacies' Latin name is argumentum ad misericordiam, which literally means argument from pity. So it's been identified and studied since ancient times, and it's recognized in formal logic, debate, and philosophy as a flawed tactic. So why does this matter? Because avoiding this fallacy helps us think critically, communicate fairly, and resist being manipulated, whether in school, politics, or everyday life. It strengthens our critical thinking and ethical reasoning skills. Thank you for watching, and I hope this helped you recognize how the appeal to pity works and how to avoid it. And remember, don't be fooled by emotional appeals that lack evidence, and respect compassion but let logic lead the way. And here's the references I used.